Good morning, beautiful people. I wanted to bring you another message this morning, and just a quick reminder of what these messages are all about. These are messages that are coming directly from love energy. This is the energy that I understand to be God, Creator, Universe. And what these messages, I hope, bring us are messages from that divine source, giving us direction and a path to follow as we recreate what our reality is. As we take this moment where everything seems to be falling apart and all this dark and separation and fear comes to the surface, how do we heal that? But more than that, how do we create something better moving forward that is really built on that foundation of love? So how do we recognize fear? How do we recognize separation? How do we recognize when we're acting from those places? Because when we do, we're building something that's not sustainable. And then how do we tap into that love energy where we are united, where we understand that every soul and every individual matters, and that we are meant to be connected and moving through life in this beautiful flow where we are giving and receiving, where we are stepping up and showing our strength and beauty, and then stepping back and letting some other part of this divine tapestry show their divinity and what they have to bring. So how do we move more into that understanding and that way of being? So I'm going to tap right in to love energy and ask them to bring us a message to help us create that new reality that we are all yearning for. So this is what Spirit's saying. Spirit's saying, I want you to listen very closely to what I have to say. There is no wrong way to get started. There is no wrong way to do the exploration work. There is no wrong way to figure out who you truly are and what you are meant to become, what you are meant to bring into this world, and what you are meant to leave behind, because it has no longer served you, because it has no longer benefiting you, and it was a mask that you are wearing. It was armor that you are wearing to help you move through early childhood, middle childhood, those teenage years, and those young adult years. We often carry this armor to just help us get on our feet because we have less control over our environments during those periods of time. And then as we age, as we move through, we begin to have a little bit more control over how we can shape the world around us. So there is no wrong way to go through that journey of understanding who we truly are. There may have been things you did, routes you took to try to figure yourself out that you're now looking back at saying, ooh, I wish I hadn't done that because that made it a little bit more difficult. Or, oh, I wish I hadn't done that because now that I think back of it, I really put waves in the waters, and I may have caused more separation as I was going through this period of awakening, of understanding myself, of really stepping into my own. And what Spirit wants you to know is, no matter how you got to this point where you are starting to either actualize that truth that you know about yourself, about your journey, about your path, and about the role you're meant to play in this moment in time, or you're just coming to a space where you're like, ooh, I'm aware that there's something there. I'm tapping into the kernel of that, of who I am. I can't really put it into words yet. I can't actualize it, but I can sense it. Whatever stage you're in, what they want you to know is there was no wrong path to get here. You shouldn't have done it quicker. You shouldn't have done it in a way that was cleaner. You shouldn't have done it in a way where you caused less friction and conflict. You did it the way that you could do it at the moment, and it got you here. So let's honor the fact that you are here. A couple things about conflict, a couple things about friction. Spirit wants us to know that conflict and friction are important parts of growth, This is where you perhaps woke someone else up as you were going through the stages in a messy way. You may have bumped into someone or a group of people or a cohesive collective of people when you were coming into your own awakening, and you may have caused them discomfort. You may have caused some friction. But what they're saying is, who is to say that that wasn't divinely inspired as well? Who is to say that your messiness wasn't meant to wake some of these people up along the way? There are things in your past that you may really not settle with you well. Words you said, choices you made, influences you had over people that going back, you can say, look back and say, that was not divinely inspired friction. That wasn't me kind of being messy, but waking up people in a good way along the way. If you are finding some of those things in your past as you kind of come into this awakening, you're allowed to go back and make amends. You may not be in a position where you can speak to that person that you harmed because it may not be good for them. They may be too vulnerable. They may be still too injured by that understanding, but you can send that energy of and those thoughts of, I understand now. I see that I was in the wrong. If I could do it over again, I would do it differently. I wish you nothing but healing and peace. You can send that out into the universe, and the universe will make sure that that healing energy, that energy of cohesion, that energy where you're literally trying to give some of that person's power back that you may have taken away, the universe will give that to them. So if there was a moment in your bumbling around up to this point where you can see that you took power away from someone, where you took safety away from someone, where you took stability away from someone, you are still able to give that back to them. And it's a simple prayer to the universe saying, dear universe, as I step closer to into my divine being, I am seeing the way that I was separated from my true self. I'm seeing how I was separated from the flow of love. And in this moment, I ask for you to give back anything I inadvertently or purposefully took from person, insert name here. Please give them back their power. Please give them back their safety. Please give them back their sense of stability that I wrongfully took away. Allow that energy to resonate with them and heal within them. Please give this back to them in the best way you see fit. Amen. And it's as simple as that. Because what happens when we don't do that, we don't make amends. We don't fill in these little threads in the connection of how we're all connected and unified. We need to mend those holes we made. But if we keep beating ourselves up over it, if we keep coming back to it, we're not able to move forward anyway. So, and we have more to give. We have more to experience. We have more to provide to this moment in time, in addition to making amends. So make amends, allow the universe to do its magic, and then keep moving forward without carrying that burden. And this is definitely because some of us are really messy as we come into that self-actualization mode, as we come into that mode of understanding who we truly are. We're often operating out of pain. We're operating out of things that were said to us, done to us, power that was exerted over us, and that breaking free of those cycles can be really messy. And as long as you acknowledge the role you played in causing pain for someone else, you have permission from love energy, from the universe, to move forward and keep walking on your path. So I'm going to leave that with all of us with love and light. I'm glad you're on this journey with me, and enjoy the rest of the day.